It was a routine night at Kuala Lumpur International Airport. The terminal buzzed with the quiet energy of late-night travelers, airport staff moving with practiced efficiency beneath the glow of fluorescent lights. On March 8, 2014, Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, a Boeing 777, prepared for its journey to Beijing. The aircraft gleamed under the runway lights, a symbol of modern aviation and the promise of safe passage. 239 people, passengers and crew, settled in, stowing their bags and finding their seats, unaware their flight would become an enduring mystery. Some chatted quietly, others gazed out the windows, lost in thought or anticipation. The final checks were completed, engines roared to life, and at 12:42 a.m., MH370 lifted off into the night. The plane climbed steadily, its lights fading into the darkness above the city. For 40 minutes, everything was normal. Calm pilot communications, a smooth climb, nothing amiss. The flight followed its planned route and the crew exchanged routine messages with air traffic control. Then, as the plane prepared to enter Vietnamese airspace, the last words from the cockpit, "Good night, Malaysian 370. It was a standard sign-off, but it would become infamous. Moments later, the aircraft's transponder was switched off. MH370 vanished from civilian radar, its signal blinking out in an instant. Confusion rippled through air traffic control. Calls went unanswered. The plane's icon disappeared from screens, leaving only silence and uncertainty. No distress signal, no bad weather, no sign of trouble. The night was calm, the skies clear, and yet the plane was gone. It was as if the plane had been swallowed by the night, leaving behind only questions and fear. The silence grew more alarming by the minute. Every second that passed without contact deepened the sense of dread. Controllers in Malaysia and Vietnam scrambled for answers, but the aircraft was simply gone. Desperate attempts to reach the crew yielded nothing. The world would soon wake to the news. A modern jetliner had disappeared without a trace. Headlines flashed across screens, and the story spread rapidly. Families waited for updates that never came. Hours stretched into days, hope mingling with heartbreak in airport waiting areas. The disappearance shattered trust in the certainty of air travel. The unthinkable had happened in an age of constant connectivity. The search for MH370 began, but the mystery only deepened. Ships and planes scoured vast stretches of ocean, finding nothing but endless water. The world was left with a haunting question: how could a plane just vanish? Experts and amateurs alike speculated, but answers remained elusive. The story of MH370 was no longer just a flight, it was a global enigma. Nations joined forces and the search became one of the largest in history. The night sky over the South China Sea held its secret. Somewhere, beneath the waves or beyond the horizon, the truth waited to be found. This was the beginning of a search that would span years and continents, drawing in experts, families, and the world's attention. The fate of 239 souls hung in the balance. Each one a story, a life, a loved one waiting to come home. The world would not rest until answers were found. The search for MH370 became a symbol of hope, loss, and the enduring quest for truth. In the hours after MH370 vanished, confusion turned to shock. Families waited desperately for news, clinging to hope as the world's media descended on airports and newsrooms. The disappearance was unprecedented. A modern jetliner simply gone with no distress call, no trace. Military radar revealed an unidentified aircraft making a sharp turn back over Malaysia, deviating from its path to Beijing. This was the first clue that something extraordinary was unfolding in the skies that night. This was not a plane in distress. It was a controlled maneuver. Whoever was at the controls seemed to know exactly what they were doing, guiding the aircraft with precision through the darkness. The aircraft navigated established waypoints, then turned south over the Indian Ocean. It was as if someone was deliberately avoiding detection, using aviation knowledge to slip away. The search area expanded from a small sea to a vast, remote ocean. What began as a local emergency quickly became an international search effort, stretching resources and hope thin. British satellite company Inmarsat detected automated pings from the plane for hours after it disappeared from radar. These faint signals, known as handshakes, were the only clues left behind. Analysis revealed two possible routes, north over Asia or south into the Indian Ocean. Investigators pored over data, trying to make sense of the plane's final hours. The northern path was ruled out, only the southern route remained. The evidence pointed to a lonely journey into the vastness of the southern seas. MH370 had flown for hours, likely until it ran out of fuel, ending in one of the most remote places on Earth. The realization was devastating for families and investigators alike. The final ping came at 8:19 a.m. over 7 hours after takeoff. After that, only silence. The world was left with more questions than answers. The searchers now had a general location, but the ocean was vast and deep. The task ahead was daunting, with no guarantee of success. The world realized the scale of the challenge ahead. The disappearance of MH370 had become a global mystery, captivating millions and haunting those left behind. The mystery had only grown, and the search for answers was just beginning. The revelation of MH370's likely crash site triggered the largest search in aviation history. Dozens of countries joined forces, led by Australia, to scour the southern Indian Ocean. The search area spanned millions of square kilometers of treacherous waters. Surface searches yielded nothing, so the effort moved underwater. Advanced ships and robotic submarines mapped the seabed, searching for wreckage. For nearly 3 years, the world watched and waited. Over 120,000 square kilometers were scanned, but the main wreckage remained elusive. In January 2017, the official search was suspended. For families, it was devastating. Answers remained out of reach. The largest search in history ended in silence. The ocean kept its secrets. The mystery of MH370 endured. For more than a year after MH370 vanished, there was no physical evidence, no wreckage, no debris, nothing to explain what had happened. The world waited anxiously, as families and investigators clung to hope, desperate for any sign of the missing plane. Then, in July 2015, a breakthrough finally arrived. A wing fragment, encrusted with barnacles, washed up on the shores of Reunion Island in the Indian Ocean, thousands of kilometers from the original search area. Careful analysis by aviation experts confirmed it was from MH370, a flaperon from a Boeing 777, the same model as the missing aircraft. This was the first tangible link to the lost flight. It was the first undeniable proof that the plane had crashed into the vast, unforgiving ocean, ending months of uncertainty. Scientists explained how powerful ocean currents could carry debris thousands of kilometers across open water, scattering fragments far from the crash site and making the search even more challenging. In the months that followed, more pieces of the aircraft were discovered, on African beaches and remote Indian Ocean islands, each one painstakingly collected and examined. Every fragment confirmed the plane's fate, but none could reveal the full story of why it crashed, or what happened in its final moments. Despite these discoveries, the main wreckage remained lost, hidden somewhere in the deep and mysterious ocean. For the families, each new piece of debris brought a mix of heartbreak and a small step toward closure, as they struggled to accept the reality of their loss. Each piece was a silent witness from the deep, a haunting reminder of the tragedy that unfolded far from shore. Hopes rose that the black boxes, the flight data and cockpit voice recorders, might one day be found, finally unlocking the secrets of MH370's final flight. The ocean had given up some of its secrets, but the biggest one, the location of the main wreckage, remained hidden beneath the waves. Yet, the search pressed on, driven by hope, determination, and the unwavering belief that answers still lay waiting in the deep. One of the most debated theories centers on Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah. Evidence of a deliberate flight path points to someone with expert knowledge at the controls. Some suggest the captain may have depressurized the cabin, rendering others unconscious, then flown the plane to a remote location. Investigators found a deleted flight path on his home simulator, similar to MH370's final route, but there's no definitive proof, no note, no clear motive. Friends and family describe him as dedicated and stable. Pilots often practice unusual scenarios. The simulator data is inconclusive. The theory persists because it fits the facts, but it remains unproven. The idea of a rogue pilot is unsettling, yet it's the only explanation that makes sense to some. Others argue it unfairly blames a man who may have been a victim himself. The truth remains elusive. Another theory blames a catastrophic mechanical failure. A fire, rapid decompression, or electrical fault could have incapacitated the crew and disabled communications. The plane might have flown on autopilot until it ran out of fuel. Past incidents with lithium-ion batteries and structural failures lend some support, but the deliberate turns and complex maneuvers are hard to explain as the result of a technical fault. The flight path suggests intentional control, not random drift. Still, some experts believe a series of cascading failures could mimic human action. This theory avoids the darkness of human malice. It paints the crew as victims of a machine's betrayal. The debate continues with no clear answers. The mystery endures. A third theory suggests hijacking or external intervention. Someone other than the pilots could have taken control, perhaps a stowaway or a passenger with piloting skills. The motive could have been political or criminal. The deliberate flight path and disabled communications fit this scenario. Yet no group claimed responsibility, and background checks revealed no suspects. The idea of a secret hijacking or military action is dramatic but lacks evidence. Some speculate about a shoot-down or a forced landing at a secret base, but there's no proof. Governments deny involvement, radar and satellite data show nothing unusual. These theories persist because the truth is so elusive. They reflect our fear of the unknown and the need for answers. Without evidence, they remain speculation. The mystery deepens. For over a decade, MH370's fate remained a cold case. By 2025, new technology allowed scientists to re-examine ocean acoustic data. A faint, low-frequency sound was detected minutes after the final satellite ping. The signal matched the impact of a large object in the ocean, pinpointed along the seventh arc. This breakthrough reignited the search. A private exploration team deployed advanced underwater drones to the site. Early scans revealed a large debris field consistent with a crashed airliner. Investigators searched for engines, landing gear, and the black boxes. The world watched, hoping for answers at last. The black boxes could finally reveal the truth. Years of speculation might soon end. The search was closer than ever to solving the mystery. The ocean's silence was about to be broken. The 2025 breakthrough brought hope to families who had waited 11 years. For them, the search is about closure and truth. The renewed investigation is a testament to human persistence and technological progress. MH370's story is now a symbol of our quest for answers in a complex world. The world watches as deep-sea robots comb the abyss. Will the wreckage confirm a theory? Will the black boxes speak? The answers could reshape aviation and our understanding of tragedy. Whatever the truth, finding it is a duty owed to those lost. The vigil may soon end and the silence of the deep may finally be broken. The story of MH370 is close to its final chapter.